Hi mates, how are you? So we are here to see how we can work with OpenAI APIs, how we can consume them. Plus, if we don't want to use OpenAI, then how we can leverage some custom models, how we can integrate it within our Python code and get used to some amazing stuff that over the internet we have, our different platforms. So let me start introducing myself. You can see my details from here, and I have various repositories. I generally pushed codes related to a lot of tech stacks which I have worked with or I am working in future. So let's continue. Our main focus is this repo at the moment. So I will teach you and guide you how it can work step by step. So get started with me. It is not mandatory that you have some specific OS. You can execute in any OS all of these commands, but make sure you have Docker installed and you also have Git installed. It is not a very beginner friendly execution, so you should be some type of mid-level developer at least to get understand all of this stuff. So let's get started. First I have copy this first command and I have entered it. Now it will clone my repo. I can see that it is cloned in this current path that I have. Let's cd into it. Now I have executed this and this, both of these commands. Now I will docker build. It will take some time. I might pause the video so you don't have to wait for this long. If I go to my that folder, chat code Python, okay. So and if I do code, it will open this folder in the VS Code. So let's understand a few things. First of all, you see that there is Flask written here. Don't confuse with this name. Actually, I have initially decided to do a lot of work over this repo, but I didn't get enough time to make it done. So please ignore this Flask. There is nothing in this repo done yet which is based on specifically Flask. So what you can see there, we have one service. Our main code is written in the service. Plus we have this few services for Milvus, which is a vector database, which we can see later how we can work with it. So our Docker is just has built. Now we can do composer up. So it will take some time as well. What we can do, we can see the code behind the scene. So these are the services which will be up in few minutes. So what you can see that we have two folders here, like custom and OpenAI. So there is nothing is anything relevant code in the folder of app. So just focus on these two folders, custom and OpenAI. So if you have access to OpenAPI key, then you can create a .env file here and you can follow this step here. You can put this key in this format, okay, if you are choosing this to execute it from OpenAI. And I will also show how you can use it without OpenAI. Okay, so first of all, we have to understand embeddings. First of all, this file will create the embedding. If I can see that I have this file cities, I have just developed a test case for myself that I have few list of cities, and you can see they have following attributes and data of famous places, foods, and tourism info. So what I can do, I can if my user is asked anything relevant to that cities, like therefore like what kind of tourist place is best for them. So my chatbot or using OpenAI or custom models, we can answer all of these queries. So what is the process behind the scene, because computer do not understand the text, and it is not like just like your SQL queries where you do where and likes. It is some little bit advanced stuff. So if you really want to understand what embedding is and how it works and how computer understand this, I will give you these links of a few videos you can watch with them, and hopefully you will have a good idea how it works. So first of all, what I do, I have this file, this cities embeddings. You can see that I have the same description that I have generated from using this data, and there is an embeddings, a huge list of embeddings here, else nothing else. Okay, so what I did, I have write some description from the information, from the any information that I have stored in that file. So it is generating embeddings. You can get a very good idea of embeddings about this. I have already told you, so please watch this before moving forward, so it will be more easily understandable to you. So what I do, I just delete the content of this file. Please do not delete this file, just follow along with me and empty the content of this file, and we will write few commands. This embeddings will be auto generated from the custom model because we are in custom folder. So that's a little bit of understanding. Now let's move forward and see if if our has been installed or not. Yeah, it is up. So let's move forward with next step. We are here now, our composer is up. Let's go to this container which I have shown you here in this docker compose YAML file. We have to go to inside this container to execute our command. So let me open a new terminal. I have copy paste that command. Now I am inside this terminal. Now I am not showing this cd OpenAI stuff at the moment. Just navigate to this cd into custom directory. Now you can see that I have explained you what this will do. This will actually create our embeddings from by reading this file, and embeddings will be generated here. So let's run this command here. Now it is downloading the model that we are using because it is not downloaded at my system. Please wait for some time. Now the model is downloaded. You can see it is generating this custom embeddings, and with the dimension of 768. So what dimension really means, you can see that this file that we have blended, it is already populated as well. So dimensions are basically these few float digits with the count of, for example, if I count them 1 2 3 4 5, so they will add up to 768. It depends on which type of model you are using. Different type of models will reflect different dimensions here. So you can see the code here. I am using this BERT model. You can see it is reading this file from here, and the generation of embeddings is actually happening is in this code. This will we have description here, and I am passing that description. In return it will provide me embedding, and you can see that we can check the shape of the vector shape of the embeddings written here, which is 768, which is actually dimension for us. So I have appended them in this simple array, and finally we are going to save this in that new file. This file is execution is started from at this point. So our first file is done. You can see how it is able to generate embedding. So next we will see how we can dump these embeddings into any vector database. Here I am using Milvus. You can use FAIS, ChromaDB, and there are a lot of others as well. So you can do it with any database. So I will execute this command in my project folder. Keep this in mind that I am inside the Docker container. So do not execute this command in your host directly. Make sure you are inside your Docker container. Just execute this file. You can see it says data insertion completed. We will see the code of this file. If I go to Milvus, we have Atu here. It is a GUI of Milvus. You can see this. We have it. We have this data here. And if I go to this part, this is schema, you can see we have defined this dimension 768. So if you are planning to use this code, then make sure that whatever shape you get from here, which is 768 in our case, then in second file you also have to define this number here. Otherwise it will not work, because if you use OpenAI, I will tell you later that that dimension is 1536 here. So if we go to this file, we have just made a connection to Milvus. Then we have defined the collection name plus the schema kind of things, like embeddings, float vector plus this dimension, this max length, and we check that if this collection is not created, so is not in the list of the collection, we will create it. Otherwise we will not do anything. So what I do here, I have just read that file, that cities embeddings file, which is generated in our previous script, and I loop over the object that we have here, like these objects individually one by one, and I inserted it in Milvus. Okay, so we have logs here that the document inserted successfully. But if we go to here, and we can see this all collection is one, but loaded collection is one. So but you can see that my data is inserted, but I cannot see it here, because you have to load that data first to see it. For that part we have to run our this script, which is doing indexing and loading the data into Milvus. You can see this file here. Let's execute it. You can see it is creating an index, and it finally says Milvus total loaded. So the same content we have here as well, that we have created a connection with the Milvus, which is in vector database, plus we have just load this collection. Now if I go to this my GUI here, you can see it is saying loaded collections, one which was 0 previously. So we can see now we can perform searching over this part. Plus if I go to next part, it will say perform search over Milvus with embeddings. So let's execute this file. What it will do, it will actually search in the Milvus with the provided query. So we can go to the code of this file. We can see that we have some standards import. We have defined our models, plus what we have done here, you can see if I go to this part, or I go to this part, where is my query? This one is my query actually, which I want to search, because this is actually the question of the user. You can take it like this. So I have written here Bollywood glamorous city. Okay, this is my user query. Now our systems or computer do not understand what this is, because we are not doing an exact match kind of scenario. So we have to generate embeddings of this as well. So then later we will do a comparison from an embedding to embedding. Means, for example, we have embedding of this description in this form, but when my user asks this question, I also create embeddings of it, and that embeddings will be compared with all the embeddings that my vector database have, and my vector database in return will return a score with the matching content as well. So let's see how it's work. So here I have generated embeddings of that. You can see this function. If I go to this definition, it is just generating its embedding and nothing else, using the same model. Make sure the models that you use for generating your embeddings is same. Okay, so otherwise it will not work. So we have this embeddings of this user question here in this variable. Now we will pass it to this is the connection object of Milvus database, which is a vector database. We will pass we have passed our vector here. Now in return it will return some results with some matching scores. You can apply some conditions by seeing score. So if we go there, it will say final 6 content, the score matching is 50.1. Now the score is depend on your model. If you use OpenAI, it will give you score close to 1 point something, and sometime lower than 1 as well. But this model is giving us a score in this format. So we can see that it returns Mumbai is a city in India. But if you can see here that I have not given anywhere India here, but it's still able to find the relevant content. This is the power of embedding, that it can search within our relevant content. So now my relevant content is here. Some in nowadays we can also call this a rack system to keep my models updated, because model have outdated data. So let's go to the next part, fifth part. Now we will do a chat completion with it. Let's see how it works. Now I haven't used this example here because this chat completion is the most complex part of this this whole part which we are doing, because it is very hard to generate an exact and a good quality of text with some model. You have to find a very good model to make it work according to your needs. So my motive is just here to explain how it can be made work with. So I am using this GPT-2 model. It is not a very good model. I have explained you already. So what I am doing here, I am giving him the question just like user have asked. Now I provide some context that you should explain this within this from this context. Please reply from this context. This is the user question, and this is the context that we provided. Now if I hit this Python command, now it will download. Yeah, it will take some time, so please wait. Now you can see I have just downloaded that model. It is a very tiny model, GPT-2, just 550 megabytes. So you can see this is the question, and this is the context that we have given. So it generate answer that France is a country located in Western Europe. Its capital city is Paris. The country's economy is growing at a rate of 2.5% a year, according to the and it stops. So basically, I know the result is not very good, but you can get the idea that my question is this. I have provided this context, but it has replied with some text which is not part of my context. So means it will able to generate some responses just like we do, and we can see how ChatGPT is doing it with its 3.5 turbo model. So that is the idea behind the scene, how all these things work. So let me repeat in shortest possible steps what we have done. Okay, so let's go. First of all, remember that the search that we are doing here is not an exact match. It is actually a semantic search. Okay, so what we have done, we have our data, just like for example you have your cases as well. For example, just assume that we have this data in our database. We have created embedding of that data by converting it into some meaningful information. You can see these embeddings here. Okay, so this is the first step. Now in second step, I have inserted this data in my vector database, because only the vector database will be able to search through your embeddings. Not your normal database will not be able to do it, because it is a semantic search. Okay, so keep this in mind. So we have in next step we have inserted this data into the vector database in this file. Now in third step we have loaded this data into Milvus so we can query with it. In fourth step we have done searching from embedding to embedding. Actually, when user asks the question, we have converted it into its embedding, and then that embedding will be compared with the embedding that we have generated, which we stored in Milvus via semantic search. Okay, so please focus on keywords that I'm using here. You can use these keywords to get more clarity if there is some confusion, or you can ask me or contact me or approach me if you have any difficulties to understanding this. Now in chat completion part, I want to understand the process, that how it works when user raises any question. Okay, when user this is the most important part. When user raises any question, we will create embedding just like we did here. Okay, and we will pass that embedding to the vector, and in return it will return some sort of content which is from our database, which is meshed from our database. So what we do here, we will put this content here in this context. Okay, because why we did that? We are doing this because we might have some updated information that our model does not have. Okay, or we want our model to reply from this data only. So we have some prompts as well. We can define some prompt. There are multiple ways of defining your prompt. It is based on model, what kind of request or payload it is expecting, or it is in what format it is. Okay, so it's very easy if you understand till here up till now. So it's very easy if you go through the documentation. There is some system and some role, some user, some context type of things. You can define it here. It's very easy. So you pass this data from your database to this value, to this variable. You can define any variable. It is not important that you have to name it context, but in this field, normally we name this as context. So we pass both of these information to the model, to the chat completion model, and the chat completion model will understand this and reply just like this. Now we can pass different types of information, but it depends on our model whether it is an instruct model or not. So if you are going to Hugging Face and searching for the model, try to use any instruct model. Okay, so I will post these links with the video as well. If there is any confusion, please let me know. I know I have tried to explain it in a short manner. Plus let's have a quick walkthrough over this OpenAI part as well. If you have an OpenAI key, how you can do it. So for that I have to cd into OpenAI. First of all, I have to move one directory back. And the second important step that I mentioned here, you have make sure that this env file is created with this value, and you must have your OpenAI key in it, in quotes as well. So I am here now. The files names are same. So if I go here, I just close this custom one and I open this OpenAI. You can see file names are same. So if I quickly go here and I make this file empty, I have the same file in OpenAI under the OpenAI folder as well. So if I quickly execute these files one by one, you can see it will use OpenAI to generate embeddings. If you can count it, the dimension of this array is 1536. We can see when we go to this script. And now the documents that we have generated embeddings has been inserted into Milvus. Now in third script, it is loaded into the Milvus. Okay, in fourth step we are doing searching. You can see because the question has been changed here. If you can quickly, I can show you. Here you can see. Can you mention a popular pastry often associated with French cuisine? So definitely it will bring up France. The code will remain mostly same. I will have a quick walkthrough. Now if I go to chat completion, now you can see, let's go through this file is almost the same. Only that we are just using OpenAI here. You can see that we can define it like this. Okay, so all the codes are exactly the same except that part. Okay, so this one where we are dumping our data into Milvus, this one is same as well. And now in third part, this one is same as well. Now in fourth part where we have we are doing searching from Milvus, it is same as well. The only difference is in this two file, this cb2, this chatbot 2, and cb5, chatbot 5. So you can see that I have just given this query here. This is the system content, this is the prompt. Okay, you can see that's what I am explaining you, that we can define any model here because we are using OpenAI. Now you can see that we have this response from OpenAI. You can see it's quite impressive. It is the power of model that you are using, because OpenAI has number one models, so their response is the best. You can see that we have not provided any specific information in the system content, but is still able to generate a pretty good text. So that's all the thing. You also have a very good idea how we can deal with OpenAI. This repo is here at my profile. You can see it, and please execute it step by step and make sure that you execute every command from inside the Docker container. If you execute it outside, it will produce errors. There are some helpful commands as well. If you have some issues, you can see this. You can do this Docker PS. If I quickly show you these commands as well. For example, if I want to see, but this command should be written, should be executed for 2 your hosts. So I can see, I want to see that these containers are running. Okay, so if there is any error pop up, please make sure that it must be from your host OS. Okay, so try to resolve this. Do not think that this repo has some issues in code anywhere, because Docker is always work on any system. Plus you can see the logs of the container, if it is fine or not. You can see it's fine, or you can delete all your Docker images or volumes from this command if you have only set up this first time in Docker. So please execute this, so it will free up your memory which have been consumed by executing these commands. Thank you so much.